So as I mentioned, the Temple Institute was founded in order to raise the consciousness of the Jewish people and the whole world, to realize the central role that the Holy Temple plays in the life of mankind, and to try to be as actively involved as possible in the renewal of the Temple. And we go about that through a number of means. We have educational curriculum that we create that are used all over the world. We have publications, and we host conferences, and there's a tremendous amount of research that's being done. But one of the main focal points of our work is the project of the actual restoration of vessels that can be used in the temple. These things are on display today in Jerusalem. In fact, over the past 10 years or so, around 1 million people have seen, about 100,000 people a year from all over the world have seen these things. They are not models or replicas or copies, because they are kosher for use according to Jewish law. That means that they are made of the original source material, whether it's gold, copper, silver, etc. They conform to all of the midot, the attributes, the particular dimensions or size, weight, volume, etc. that is required by the Torah and by the oral tradition, so that if the temple, when the temple is built immediately, these things can be used. And the beauty of this project is that this is actually like the beginning of the resumption of building the temple, because the Rambam explains to us in Sefer HaMitzvot and Klal Esen Chaf, Maimonides explains to us that every single individual aspect of the temple is also considered the temple. So if I have a temporary obstacle in building the temple, I can begin the commandments of Va'asu Mikdash by building, however in piecemeal fashion it may look a little bit odd, in whatever context I can begin the building. And of course, on the level of motivation and inspiration, this is something that brings a tremendous amount of inspiration to people to see that the temple can become a reality, that it's not a myth, that it's not just a legend, that we know exactly how these things are to be done. And you have to understand that there's a tremendous amount of knowledge, of research, of halachic integrity that is involved in this type of project. Many people will ask, how can you do that? Are we not all impure? Where does it say that? I didn't see this detail. Where is that written? There is a tremendous amount of responsible Torah research by great scholars who are working around the clock to discern, to delve into, to unravel an area of Torah study that has been couched, unfortunately, that has become abandoned and neglected. The information does exist, the principles do exist, but never to this extent was it put into action so much, although there were attempts throughout the years to do this very thing as well that are recorded by our great scholars and sages. And so the idea really of building the vessels, it's like a desire to show Hashem that we do have the desire, the ratzon, to be involved in the temple. We would like to see it become a reality. And I like to liken it to the famous midrashic idea of the splitting of the sea, when the Jewish people came to cross the sea. And Hashem said to Moshe, why do you cry out to me? Speak to the children of Israel and go. But yet, it seems that they didn't understand exactly what was required, and there was one person that we're told by our sages, Nachshon, the son of Aminadav, who was the prince of the tribe of Judah, and he understood what had to be done, and he began walking into the water. The sea didn't split. He walked into the water until it came up to here. And as soon as it came up to his nostrils, that's when the sea split, and it stayed open the whole night. Because it didn't split until one person did everything that was humanly possible for him to do. He couldn't do any more than that, but Hashem didn't make it happen until he did that, no less either. So Hashem, we believe, makes miracles. The problem is, he needs a leg in this world for those miracles to stand on, and that's what it means to be a Jew. Yes, Hashem makes miracles, but only after we have shown him some interest, a sign of life. As soon as we have done everything possible as Torah Jews, then Hashem makes miracles in abundance. But why should he? Until we show him that it's worth his time. That's exactly what that lesson is teaching us, and that's how I like to consider the concept of building the vessels. There is a problem at the moment, perhaps not, with building the temple, but in the meantime, building the vessels is walking into the sea and showing Hashem we remember, we're not complacent, we're not expecting a handout, we want to see the temple, and we will not rest until we have done all that's possible to restore the sovereignty of Hashem in this world and to restore Israel to her proper place.
Simple question. What's the biggest vessel And the smallest vessel?
The largest vessel that's been completed to this day certainly is the temple menorah, which is a central point of the service in the temple that sits in the sanctuary in the Heichal. The menorah that we have created contains over 90 kilograms of gold, but it weighs about 2 tons, and that's definitely the largest vessel that we have created. The smallest things that we have created, well, we have the stones of the breastplate that took a tremendous amount of research in identifying over a decade, just in understanding. There are more than 30 different opinions as to what the names of the stones mean. This is just to give you a slight idea of how much research has to go into this project. So that would be an example of something very, very small that took a very long time.